Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer. And coach, before we get started, congratulations again on your 200th win game. Sorry, I keep doing that. Just used to celebrating your wins, I guess. But 200th game and then 201st game as an Aberdeen Wing. It's been quite a ride thus far.
Yeah, it has. It's been a good 200 games. There's been a lot of success here, a lot of fun, a lot of good stories being made, and to see the amount of kids that are going on to college, and just to be a part of Aberdeen. It's been for me and my family. It's been really fun to be here and be part of such a great organization. So we're really happy to have a little longevity. That's for sure.
Excellent. I know fans and everybody in Aberdeen happy to have you guys. A weekend sweep of the Chippewa Steel. You outshot the Steel 77-50, featuring a 6-3 win on Friday. On Saturday night, you mentioned being happy with the strong start, but maybe not particularly pleased with the final 40 minutes. Takeaways from Friday?
It was a really good start. And sometimes when you start that well, it's not easy to sustain that type of play throughout 60 minutes. So not making any excuses. You'd certainly like to see us continue the dominance, that we did out of the gate through the second, 20 minutes and the third 20 minutes. But it's not always easy. Our guys played well enough to win the hockey game, and you just don't like to have a team, outchance you in the last two periods, especially in your building. But it was a good win. We finally started on time, and we got, scoring from our depth, which was great. We got guys chipping in that we need to chip in and take some pressure off those guys that tend to do most of your scoring.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that a little bit more in just a minute here too. Saturday, a 4-1 win. It was a little closer and a little more even game throughout, much of it anyway. But again, you come away with another solid W at home. Your thoughts on Saturday's matchup?
Yeah, we got scoring from 2D. Obviously, the big goal there by DeVita right out of the gate to put us on top and give our bench a little bit of energy. So I thought that was big. And then, you have Jake Benet step in on a huge power play goal on the back door, which was a big goal for us at that point. So it was a good effort. I thought entirely this weekend, I thought our guys put the time in and they worked hard. And obviously going into this next weekend and kind of playing the top team in the division, you want to make sure that you're playing well throughout the weekend against Chippewa, and I think for the most part we did.
I would say so. Well, you talked about it a little bit, and I wanted to point it out. 10 goals scored by 9 different players. So definitely seen some balance and rounded scoring, like you said, from depth, from all lines. And in the past, that's been kind of a hallmark of success for some of your teams, and it seems like we're seeing that here again, at least starting to.
When we put the teams together, we try to put the teams together with depth and not to have to rely on one or two lines and single guys to get all your scoring done. And I think you see that year in, year out. You see pretty even down the roster of guys chipping in, and we don't label our lines. We never have, and we obviously at home will play certain lines against certain lines on the opposition, but we expect all 4 of our lines to contribute, and it's good to see that. And like I said, it takes a lot of the pressure off guys that are expected to score.
Right. Well, and it's something we've talked about in previous shows too. That when it works, it's awesome, and like you said, it takes the pressure off, makes everybody a little looser, I would imagine. But as I said, great to see it happening. Specialty teams, the penalty kill was 1 of 7 against a strong power play unit, 3rd best in the league, in fact, coming into the weekend. And the power play was 2 of 7, gave up 1 shorthanded goal, but overall a pretty decent weekend, specialty teams wise, huh?
Yeah, I think so. There was a big goal there on Friday night by our power play when we needed it, and I think it was Cooper Har, and obviously the Jake Benet goal to put us up there in night 2. So, the big thing about a power play is you can look at the percentage, but is it getting it done when you need it? That's the big question. And I think so far, Coach Hill has done a good enough job, and a great job actually, and and our power play goals are coming at a real timely time.
Yeah.
And it's given us and our bench momentum. So yeah, I mean, they've done a good job, and obviously you prepare each weekend against each opponent, and a power play is a very difficult system to have success in. So I think we're doing a good job.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because it is kind of an intangible. Like you can look at the percentages, but the reality is are they coming through when it matters? And that's been the case. So
Yeah.
excellent to see that. You mentioned it, Coach. You got Bismarck coming up. They are at the top of the division right now with 32 points. The Wings now in sole place of second position with 29, then Minot 27, Austin 26, the Wilderness with 25, and St. Cloud with 14. The 15-2-2 Bobcats coming into the Odie this weekend. First time meeting them this year. They've had a lot of meetings with St. Cloud. In fact, 10 games against St. Cloud. I would imagine they're about sick of each other. But the Bobcats coming in, what have you seen from them on film? What do you know about this team?
Yeah, that's the deepest team that I think they've had over there since my time in the Central Division. You know, they were fortunate enough to bring a lot of guys back from last year's team, and they had some additions, some real good additions that they added to their roster. So they're deep.
Mm-hmm.
They're a deep team. Their defense plays with a lot of confidence. They're really physical back there, and obviously their goaltending's got it done. So I mean, this is it's definitely going to be a hard-fought series, and you know, they're a team that is on top, and we're fighting to get there. So you know, I expect our guys to be up for the task and play the right way, and you know, let's kind of just get it done.
Well, now having seen Minot, Wilderness, Austin a handful of times, and getting a chance to see Bismarck, is this going to be kind of a litmus test? Does the locker room get a little bit more amped up, maybe?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, everybody knows where they are in the standings, and you've always had that rival between Bismarck and Aberdeen. So I mean, I think our guys get up for it. I don't really know about a litmus test at this point. I mean, I think at this time of the year, you're still trying to improve your hockey team and fight for a playoff spot. And normally, how you are now, you're not going to be, you know, in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we're fighting to get to the top spot, and they're fighting to keep it. So it's going to be a great test.
Long season, excuse me. And this is just the first meeting with the Bobcats, and again, number one in the division. So it should be a 1 and 2 face-off this weekend. We'll talk about dates and times and so on coming up, but it should be a excellent matchup. And I hope to see everybody out here at the Odie cheering them on. Well, Coach, that's pretty much all I've got. I appreciate you coming on the show as always, and wish you best of luck against Bismarck.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll be back coming up after these words from our sponsor. Welcome back as we continue on with Wings Weekly, and as I promised, and as is generally the case, we've got a player that's joining us, and in this case, it's Cade Nielsen of Nottingham, England.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Cade.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is real easy, real casual, just kind of get to know each other and let the fans get a chance to get to know you. A few silly questions at the end, but let's start with your hockey, I guess, roots. Now, your dad played. He was actually drafted by Edmonton.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge surprise that that you're going to be introduced to hockey at a young age. Probably got a chance to even watch him play.
Yeah. Well, I was really lucky with that, and he's always been playing, and I've always been really young going into his team's dressing rooms and seeing what it's like to be a true professional. But as soon as I turned 2, he kind of just threw some skates on me, and he literally just walked out to the ice, threw me on, and kind of walked away. So I was kind of crying on the ice at a young age, and then kind of had to learn, force upon me.
That's awesome. I've heard of people who have taught their kids to swim that way. Just throw them out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go. Well, that's excellent. And he was a defenseman. So I wanted to talk a little about how that works. I mean, obviously, you've got a great resource in your corner, somebody that can help you along the way. How do you go off and become a forward when everything that he's worked at has been a defenseman?
I think it's because playing in England, I was always on a really dominant team, and obviously the standard's not as good as it is over here or Canada. And I just like to have the puck, and I used to be a little puck hog and wouldn't pass it, so I just like to score a lot of goals. So
I like the honesty anyway.
yeah, I just used to be really selfish when I was young, and I like to play with the puck.
Right on. Well, and that kind of doesn't really translate over to the Wings for sure. When we'll talk about some of your other juniors' experience, but the Wings have a very family orientated locker room and team, and a lot of system based kind of things where being that goal scorer or that go-to guy doesn't really fit in. So has it been some adjustment, or is that kind of something that you adjusted to a long time ago?
I adjusted to that a while ago.
Yeah.
I kind of realized that I wasn't a goal scorer anymore. So I kind of turned into a little playmaker, I like to think of myself as. And obviously we have a lot of talent in this room who get the job done and score lots of goals. Like my line mate, Murphy, he's a big goal scorer, same with Vertez. So I just like to give them the puck, let them do it, and hopefully get an assist and let them just do their thing.
Well, don't go shortchanging yourself. It's not like you haven't scored a handful of goals. And in all my time with the Wings in the 4 years of Riley Murphy, I never would have thought somebody would say he's a big goal scorer. I don't even think Murph thinks of himself that way, but he's becoming that way, isn't he? It's pretty awesome. I wanted to talk. You played in Canada for a few years up in Ontario, but like you said, played in England too. I mean, there aren't a lot of people, then obviously Nathan and a few others that have been from overseas or whatever. But that's a whole different world. I mean, the culture, I would imagine, everything is totally different. But your time in Canada, I would imagine, kind of helped you kind of get used to, I guess, what the United States is like and what Aberdeen is like as a whole. But what have been some surprises? What have been some things that, when you first came over to North America or whatever, that you were a little shocked at?
Just the people. Like, it's complete different culture. Like, everyone's so really nice. Like, same in England, but it's just in Canada especially, it's a little too nice. You kind of you'll bump into someone and both people will say sorry, even though if they're in the wrong, you're in the wrong. It's just that, and the weather's a lot different.
Yeah.
England's just gray. In winter, there's never any snow. It's just gray skies and rain.
So you had to get used to some cold too then.
Oh, yeah, it was freezing. I remember me and a couple of my English friends went that first year to Canada, and we were just amazed, being able to skate outside. It was the coolest thing ever. Just being able to skate on ponds and have snowball fights whenever we wanted. I thought it was pretty cool.
I never thought of that. I suppose though, even people from Texas and stuff, that's not something that they're used to. Something that we grow up with. So when I played, that's where we practiced, was outside. Yeah. It was cold. Well, okay. So we talked about your family a little bit, or about your dad anyway. How about the rest of your family? You got a younger brother that plays. Talk about your family as a whole.
Yeah, well, my brother plays in Utah, actually. I don't know the team name. I forgot, but he's doing really well. He actually hated hockey when he first started. My dad just forced it on him as well and eventually started to like it. And my mom's she doesn't like hockey. She just doesn't really care about it. But we were always really fortunate because she would always drive us to all our games because of my dad being so busy.
Sure.
So she was kind of the rock of the family that basically helped me and my brother get to where we are right now.
I'm often impressed. I mean, it's the same story from every hockey player. You always hear the hockey moms and about all the stuff that they do behind the scenes, getting kids ready early in the morning, whatever, and the driving them here or there, whatever. It really is a position that doesn't get enough credit, I think, but it's awesome. The hockey mom is so important. What in your first few weeks or whatever of Aberdeen, what were your impressions about the size of the town and everything? And then I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about the locker room as a whole. What do you think of these guys? And how is there a little bit of a learning curve when you first get thrown into a group, or do you guys all kind of become family pretty quick?
I think right away, because they obviously had such great success last year. All the veteran players are really tight with each other. So there's a little bit of that little phase where you're getting to know everyone. Obviously, some guys are quiet. I was a lot more quiet at the start than I am now. But
Sure.
After a while, just being with each other every day, you kind of just get used to each other, you become more comfortable, and it really is now a family. Like, we're all brothers now. We all play for each other and for ourselves, for our coaches, and we just want to win here.
The Wings have won 4 straight now. A road sweep in Austin, sweep here this last weekend of the Chippewa Steel. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you said now it's really, truly a family. Do you suppose that as this team is starting to mature and starting to kind of peel off some wins, is that part of it? Is that chemistry, that bonding kind of part of it?
Absolutely. Because when you're losing, it's a little bit harder. But once you start stringing wins together, it's a lot better environment around the room day in, day out. And guys want to win, keep winning, because it's a lot more fun when you win. So
Very true. All right. Well, how about you? Do you have any hobbies or anything away from the rink? Anything that you like to do?
I love watching Netflix.
Okay, nice.
Just-
What's your go-to show?
I actually just finished Vampire Diaries. It was really good. I know I shouldn't like it, but I loved it. It was a really sad ending. I like going to the Y, play pickleball. It's a lot of fun too. Yeah, just kind of hang out with a bunch of people, just do stupid stuff with each other, watch movies.
Excellent. Well, I know the Y in pickleball has come up a handful of times. That must be pretty good fun. What is pickleball?
It's like, I'd say it's table tennis or ping pong
Okay.
as a tennis in a tennis court. So it's like a smaller tennis court. It's like ping pong on a tennis thing.
Wow.
I think I've explained that right. I'm not sure.
Do you actually have a racket?
Yeah. Well, I don't have one personally, but they give us some.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun.
I'm going to have to check that out. All right. Excuse me. Well, I've got a couple of quick kind of silly questions here for you. Actually, this one isn't even all that silly. It's kind of deep, so get ready. Would you rather have no one show up to your wedding or no one show up to your funeral?
No one show up to my funeral.
That'd be worse,
Yeah. Because I want to see people at my wedding.
right?
If I'm already dead at my funeral, so it wouldn't really matter to me
Right.
if they didn't show up.
You don't think it maybe says something about the way you lived if nobody comes to your funeral, though?
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the wedding. So
Good point. That's fair. Okay. Would you rather have more time or more money?
more money.
I kind of figured that was
More
going to be
money,
the case.
absolutely.
I think when you get older, time starts to become a little bit more valuable, and you're like, you know what? I think I'd rather have more time than money. But I figured that the younger guys, you guys' age and stuff is like all about the money. Would you rather go back in time, where say you could meet your ancestors or whatever, and or would you rather go into the future, where you can say meet your great grandkids or whatever?
Ooh, I'd go back in time.
Yeah.
I like to see some of the crazy stuff my ancestors did a little while ago. I feel like there'd be some funny stuff going on.
I bet there would too. All right, final one. Would you rather fly, be able to fly, that is, or be able to read minds?
Ooh,
Tough one, huh?
I don't know. I'd read minds.
Yeah?
That'd be pretty cool to see what everyone's thinking.
Isn't that a little scary though?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it would just be so cool. Like if you're ever playing a trick on someone or like they're playing a trick on you, like so if someone's hid my phone, I'll be like, okay, now I know where it is.
Right. Pretty easy to manipulate people too, and you know
Yeah.
exactly what they're thinking. You'd be like, oh, let's do this, whatever.
You're just living in their head
Yep.
whenever you want. That'd be great.
That'd
be
A
awesome.
little bit of an evil laugh. That'd be great. You could live in their head. Okay. Well, Kate, I appreciate you coming on the show again. I don't have a whole lot more for you. Well, I guess I do want to ask about Bismarck. I just talked with Coach a little bit about the locker room. And, in years past, there's been a pretty heated rivalry between these two teams, even though Bismarck oftentimes says that Minot is their biggest rival. We always kind of felt like it was Bismarck. Like they were the ones that we wanted to beat, even though we used to have the in-state rival of Brookings. And I think it was partially maybe the level of competition, that the Wings saw Bismarck as more of a threat or whatever the case. But there's been a pretty heated rivalry over the years. And them being on top of the division right now, is there a little bit more of a buzz in the locker room? Granted, today's Monday. But knowing that the Bobcats are coming into the building?
I think so, but I think it kind of just energizes the guys a little bit more. Like it's going to be a great week of practice. We really want to make it 6 in a row. So I just think we're just going to stick to the same plan as we do every week, treat it no different, but there's certainly going to be a little more extra energy from the boys. And yeah.
Excellent. I kind of figured that was the case, but I wanted to ask anyway. All right, well, I'll move along here a little bit. Friday, November 29th versus the Bismarck Bobcats. Black Friday deals at the door. Buy one regular price ticket and receive a second ticket at half price. On Saturday, November 30th versus the Bobcats once again. Wings away jersey auction following the game with Val Jark of Jark Worley Auctions. And Val Jark, of course, being the auctioneer. That's on Saturday after the Bobcats game. Both nights, $2 off admission at the door, with donation to our Aberdeen Area Chamber of Ambassadors hat and mitten drive this weekend and every weekend through December. For all the latest news and information on Wings, you can check out AberdeenWings.com. Sorry about that, stuttered stammer there for a little bit. Or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or on Instagram for all the latest news on the Aberdeen Wings. The Wings have begun our Day with the Cup promotion. If you advertise with the Wings or have season tickets and you want your business to spend a day with the Cup, contact Aaron Smith at 605-380-5852 to schedule. Remaining reserved season tickets and corporate night sponsorships are still available. Call Aaron for that as well. Doors open for all Wings home games at 5:30 and the puck always drops at 7:15. $10 general admission tickets are on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Or upgrade to reserve by calling Aaron Smith, 380-5852. So anyway, that's pretty much it. But I appreciate you coming on the show, Cade, and best of luck against the Bobcats.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right. Cade Nielsen there, ladies and gentlemen, our guest. And that is pretty much going to wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.